In fairness, if there was one person to play a game, having had a night on the soup,
Greatest fuels.
he had some engine. I remember he played 70 odd minutes, and you wouldn't have known.
Yeah. I knew. I scrummaged behind him, and the smell of liquor in that scrum. Oh my God. We blamed the Romanians. We blamed the Romanians.
Imagine what they thought.
Well, I presumed it was Paul Wallace.
Oh, shoulder to shoulder with Malcolm O'Kelly.
Oh, where did you pull that one from?
Favorite actor?
Al Pacino.
Oh, close. Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah. What car were you driving?
Rover.
A Mondeo.
Mondeo.
Last book you read. This is the biggest lie ever. But what did you say?
I don't know what I said. I'd say it was not a biography.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Favorite party piece?
Favorite party piece? Oh my God, I don't know how honest I am in here. This could be very worrying. I was liable to do anything back then. No, come on, tell me.
Singing Rolling Stones songs very badly.
That was my first cap I sung, Simply for the Devil. That reminds me of that particular World Cup. We had obviously we likes of Justin Fitzpatrick, Dave Humphreys, and lots of guys who didn't know the national anthem. And we did a phonetics national anthem, and we got the guys up in the bus to sing the national anthem. So we had Justin Fitzpatrick singing it, Ross Nesdale singing it. It was shiny bacon foil. It was the first line I can remember.
What did the anthem mean to you when you sang it? Not just in that World Cup, but any time you represented Ireland. Was it an emotional time? Was it something that you sang?
With gusto.
Okay.
Absolutely loved it. If I could, I would have sung the other national anthem as well, the French national anthem. Yeah. It was just such a magical moment. It was a really special time. For you as a player, you were about to represent your country, you're about to go out and do battle. You're with this group of guys that you'd worked all week with or all year with, and the opportunity for doing something special was right there in front of you. And this was just the beginning of it.
So you're in the squad for a couple of years at that stage. You've been captain 97. It's your first World Cup. What sort of squad were we? And you had a big experience over the next 10 or 12 years of different Irish squads. Where was that squad going into that World Cup?
I think there was certainly a mix. There was certainly a lot of potential, I think. I think it was a very young squad. I think even this more senior guys had come from the amateur era and weren't particularly the leaders. The leaders were the new generation. The likes, maybe Keith Wood would have been the obvious talisman, but he was only back from injury himself, and he was without doubt our most notable player, but wouldn't be the captain for another wee while yet. But it was, your arrival was massive to us in terms of, as I was there a couple of years before that, and it was. Something we lacked was the ability to distribute from across our backline. And with your arrival, suddenly we had that, and suddenly we had a threat out wide. And it was at a time where there was space. That's where the space was. So, I think there was a lot of optimism.
And I want to understand the build-up a little bit more and what your memories are from that in advance. I have a fleeting memory of doing this team building stuff and being given 3 juggling balls. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We might have played some terrible rugby in the World Cup, but God, my God, we were good jugglers.
I can still juggle now. Give me anything. Give me some knives.
It's a fire up here. But it was weird. It was this thing where we were told we had to bring our juggling balls to meetings and stuff. It was like a child we were looking
after. Do you know what
after.
that was about? Can you remember what that was about?
It was about trying to have own responsibility. Was that it?
The way I was trying to, because I was remembering the juggling thing, and it was about. I thought it was about becoming brilliant at it or good at it is something that you wouldn't have thought you would be able for, and you're achieving something that you wouldn't thought you would be able to do, and hence the same way we're going to win the World Cup.
One worked out really well, one not so great.
Yeah. Look, you can juggle now. You can win the World Cup. It's a bit of a leap. It's a bit of a leap.
It's all the same.
But but we were at the beginning of sports psychology there.
So we get to the main event. You're playing in your first World Cup game. For me, it's my 4th Test match, and I've played against Australia twice, and my childhood hero in Tim Horan in my first and second Test matches, and Dan Herbert, who's a seasoned international at that stage. But somehow I get unbelievably stressed about playing against some guy called Grobbelaar in the centre. I think largely because he had this big aggressive beard. I was 20 years of age and I couldn't grow one myself. And I just thought, am I out of my depth here? Did you feel at that stage, what are you, 24, that you were physically up to that level, up to that standard?
Yeah, I felt I was. Yeah, I didn't feel intimidated. I felt. Did I feel 100% confident in my own ability to perform? Probably not. It was always a stress whether or not you'd had that game that you wanted. As I said, I had 2 years under my belt. I probably had that first season out of me. I had even gone through an injury then as well, so I'd just come back. And so yeah, I was in good form,
Would you talk about the physicality of the game as well? I remember Kevin Maggs, my centre partner, getting hit with a shot from Daniel Herbert. Now, in this day and age, it's a red card all day, but it's a high shot. But at the time, questionable. He got cited, but was
there was a lot of I need the footage I watched. There was a lot of neck tackles.
Yeah, but it was some shot. Oh my God! And I remember thinking to myself, if there's one thing you're going to learn from your early days of playing international rugby is don't run in a straight line against these guys. Maggsy, prided himself in running route one and being able to make a hole, irrespective of who's in front of him.
Yeah, well, against I would say 90% of the people he'd be playing against, he'd find that hole. That was one thing he was good at. He was really good at that, and I've seen him play against the best in the world and find that, but not on that day.
So then we obviously lose that one 23-3, and you must have thought these are serious World Cup contenders. It was a real eye-opener that we were quite a bit off the pace if we're looking to progress in this.
Yeah, we were way off that day, and it was tough. It was a tough pill, but we weren't. I don't think we were that disappointed, or that we certainly didn't expect realistically to win that match. Nor did it really matter to our hopes of reaching that quarter-final.
We know we're going to be going to Lens. So many negative memories from it, but what do you take from that? Is there anything that jumps out at you?
I remember going into it feeling the pressure, and I talked about it before, just feeling that pressure, and that, it was just this kind of, we have to win this match. Did
you not feel as though we will win this match? That it is a pressure, but do you know what? We've beaten them, only 6 or 8 weeks ago. We know how to get that done. For me, maybe it was the naivety of youth, but I kind of thought muscle memory will be okay. We have enough firepower to get this done.
I didn't think that. No, I just had this kind of it was almost like this rabbit in the headlights, type of kind of thing. Just like we need to get past this game. And I can also remember meeting. Talking to Dion O'Quinnigan that week when we were in Lens. It was because it was the first time we'd moved our base, and we'd gone in, and we really didn't have. We moved into like not a great environment.
It was a dive of a hotel.
Yeah,
an absolute dive.
The food was terrible.
There couldn't have been a recce job done on it. There just couldn't. We won't. They obviously would have surely foreseen moving there. But anyway. We had to go there, the environment had changed. This is the kind of thing that we were not aware of, that this would affect your performance. Sure, you could just go into a hotel for a few days, it'd be grand. But your food, everything that you had become comfortable with, that helped you focus on your performance, wasn't really there. Whatever
So we
about,
just
sorry,
showed
whatever
up.
about me, I remember the beds being ridiculously skinny. So
Yeah.
I was thinking, if I'm struggling in one of these,
Yeah.
what are the likes of you
And
dealing
I'm
with?
shoved in with Peter Clousey, who's smoking 20 a day, like, so make it worse. But yeah, like they weren't ideal. I even remember we went to the swimming pool after training, and we were all in our training shorts, and they kicked us out of the training shorts. We weren't wearing budgies. So, you know, it just the planning probably wasn't there for that. Not to take anything away, but like, you know, come match day, then we were, you know. We played well. We gave it our best. We were never a team that could control a game. We just went out there and we just, you know, gave it everything we had. Played with passion.
Yeah, there wasn't tactically we were no geniuses.
No, but we defensively we'd improved and we would shut down teams. Like, I remember watching footage of you absolutely herring up, and it was all about preying on the opposition's mistakes, playing territory. We played it really well. We had a lot of territory. We were hammering their line so many times. So many guys came so close.
Because at one stage, I think, you know, a couple of minutes into the second half, we were 12 points up.
Yeah.
But yet, you talk about tries, the one that ultimately broke us was Albanese when, you know, they scored with about 12 or 13 minutes to go, and the whole momentum of the game changed.
It was a phenomenal try.
It was a great try, but you know what?
Yeah,
you
well,
look at defensive systems in a back line,
flew
you know,
up.
we did.
Yeah.
We played into their hands. They held this crazy depth, knowing we were going to shoot out of the line like we did.
Yeah.
And their quality of pass. Felipe had just come off the bench. What was your feeling, you know, coming off the pitch? Was it shell shocked? Was it?
It was just, yeah, it was shell shock. It was numb. It was. I don't know. It felt that try came. They were 4 points ahead for quite a spell. So it was that realization, I think, as well, that we weren't going to do it as the clock got closer. So
and panic sets in.
Yeah, and we're all doing crazy stuff. It was just like we're all suddenly playing as individuals, and everything falls apart. Yeah, it was one of those really hard things to deal with. You know, and you knew that everybody would be, your family, your friends would be really disappointed, because we were a good team, and we had done lots of great things, and we had taken a couple of scalps, and we come close. We just quite hadn't put the hammer down and quite hadn't taken anything yet, and would prove in the years to follow that we would have great moments as a squad together. But you know, maybe that low needed to happen. I don't know, but I thought that was a hard one to take for us.
We had to see the negative sides of a World Cup to really appreciate a more positive one in 4 years' time.
Yeah, you look at that result and you let that cloud what was. You know, there was lots of great things that came out that happened in that World Cup for us as a group, and that group went from strength to strength. And the 2003 World Cup, which is, you know, for me, I see that as a very positive one. Again, we came close to yet more scalps on that, but you know, that 2003 probably wouldn't have happened except for '99. You know, great time to be a rugby player.
Good time is right. Yeah, it was. It really was. Getting to experience both sides of that, that advent of professionalism into really learning what it meant to be a pro, having a great time, but you know, and winning thankfully along the way as well. Yeah,
and you know, having the experience, good and bad, you know, hitting into the pitfalls and the holes and dragging yourself out and dusting yourself down and getting back up on the horse and going again. You know, it was great for us as a squad just to, you know, weather that and come through all that and experience some of the great stuff at the very end, like in 2009, the Grand Slam and all that. To have had that and then to have had 99, you know, it's you know, great career to have been, a great time to have had your career, you know.
So then finally, Mal, the burning question, Japan in September. How are we going to do? Should we have lots of hope?
Maybe a quarterfinal.
Okay.
And I would say they're going to certainly outstrip where we were. They're going to get to a semi-final. Big match against South Africa, obviously, in the quarters. The key would be in that group stage to get to that South Africa quarter-final, win that match, and then for me, anthem's a bonus.
Do we have the squad to be able to delve into
That's the real question.
to win 7
you know.
consecutive weeks?
Physically, are we enduring enough? We seem to sustain a lot of injuries, and whether or not our squad is deep enough. I know it was questioned in the Six Nations, and it'll be questioned again in the World Cup. So, hopefully.
So semi-finalists and maybe more.
Maybe more.
Cool. Good.